don't ever send me money, imposters everywhere bracket. That's fucked up, right? Like, I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. And everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard, yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Mexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you...
There's so many scams, I have to change my username to don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart, bracket, don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere, bracket. That's fucked up, right? Like, I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. And everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard, yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a...
And baby, you can have whatever you want. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. Oh. We're moving places I can't control. I don't know how to be without you. I don't feel whole. Look what you've done to me now. You got a body like a model. You got a body that you always find. Open up a bottle, and baby, you can have whatever you want. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. You like liquid honey. You like liquid honey.
Bang, bang. It's your boy, VETS. Everybody, welcome to the VETS and Crypto Show. Good day, good day. Hey, we got a very cool one. We're kind of piggybacking off of Monday's stream for 2 fucks and their protocol that's rolling out here in 2 more weeks. So we got a special guest here, the developer himself, Mr. Yellowcake. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me. Great show and great audience here. So,
thank you. Yeah, we got some of our fan favorites up here in the chat. We'll dip in and say hello to everybody real quick. Bright Light, good to see you. Hello. And then there was, hey, what do you know? It's good old Yellowcake. So we'll post Yellowcake's Twitter up here in a minute. He is I am Yellowcake on X. Hello, Julie. Brother AJ, how's it going, man? Good to see you. That body mechanic. Whoa. Right? Love the names. Silverbacked. What's good? Holla. And then we got our peace, our faithfuls. Luna, God bless. Thank you. Uh-oh. We're in trouble now. So C HUD, what's up? CMO Spider, good to see you as always. Appreciate it. Hey, Ramon, and the Tankster, Tank Will. So, what we have today, potentially, we'll see if is everything good on your end?
Yeah, everything's set. You bet.
Yeah. Cool. So, Yellow Cake, besides being a developer for the Two Fucks, in his former life, and maybe, I don't know, are you still a volunteer or not, but was a firefighter, full-fledged certified firefighter in the house. So for that, we thank you, sir, for your service. It doesn't go without saying. So
yeah, the training. Sorry, didn't mean.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, please tell the kids at home a little about your experience and your background.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say the firefighter training is one of the very few certifications that doesn't expire. Like, I was trained as a paramedic as well. I wasn't going to cut you off there. Sorry. Did you?
No, you're fine.
Yeah, but I was an entrepreneur my whole life, and amongst working many jobs and many ventures of my own, firefighting seemed like a way where I'd have a little bit extra free time to pursue some other interests. I know some double dipper firefighters as well that were running things on the side, and it was just a good environment to do, I thought, what I wanted. So I completed my training, fire paramedic training, and wanted to go work in my city where the streets were paved with gold. Could have gone anywhere in Canada. Essentially, I was offered some jobs that I turned down and wanted to go to this particular place. So while waiting to get for a big hiring spree, I began a paid and call position in a smaller center, and did that for a number of years, and it was great. And in that time, I had to sustain myself, so I started a business that ended up doing quite well, and it allowed me the time and freedom to be able to continue on serving the community while pursuing my own endeavors, and on the side started to get into to crypto, and to trading was mainly my first entry, and then from there I built a giant crypto mining operation with ASIC miners, and then went on to. I've always wanted to build in the space, and it wasn't until more recently that I decided to enter the arena, and with the Pulse Chain community, great amount of quality people that stay behind and built, and we have this amazing infrastructure now of DeFi. I'm very happy to be a part of, and very excited for our launch. We're right on the launch pad, ready to go with this stuff.
Right there.
See you, Andy. There. Hello.
Yeah. Right there. What were you mining?
Well, I had a Bitcoin and Litecoin. Litecoin was one of my bigger ones because just the availability at the miners at the time. But probably the most profitable ASIC I had, because I was awake right at the right moment, through Bitmain when the basically the sales opened up for the SIA coin miners, because that was the first run of ASIC miners, and the way they shipped was their first in, first out. So I was able to get my foot in the door with the on the first batch of shipping the SIA coin miners, and it was incredible the payoff on that, because I was one of the first to receive them and plug it in, and that was probably the most profitable, like, short-term mining. But the Litecoin, I mean, right when I set up the mining operation in 2016, it was right at the height of the market, and from there, like, the electricity prices rose and the crypto prices went down. But I was going to keep those machines on no matter hell or high water, and it was the most enjoyable learning experience I ever had. And I just everything from building this high end double walled structure inside a building. So I had I don't like noise, so I had built a double-walled structure. I'd researched, how to stop noise, and so I had like two layers, 5/8 drywall with green glue in between, with the 6 inches of rock solid insulation and a 2-inch air gap, and then repeating on the other side the opposite. And then so basically, when I closed that door, those two doors actually, when I closed those doors, the loudest thing in the building was the little fridge, like the little beer fridge or whatever you want to call it, like those little
the compressor.
I couldn't even hear. Yeah, so it was so quiet. The fans I had, like I was moving a lot of air, but I had these DC drive fans that were just amazingly quiet, and I just loved every moment of that learning experience. Learned so much, and it was a great experience. But I eventually shut it down, and then I hung on to those miners as long as I could. And of course, the moment I sold them, Dogecoin pumped, because they were dual, like those Litecoin miners, dual mined Dogecoin. And as soon as I sold them, they would have been a gold mine again. But that's how she goes. And then, got to move on.
Yeah, you know about so noise control, right?
Yeah.
So like staggered studs, the air gap.
Yeah,
the
it was amazing, because those things are loud, and it's like I kind of miss the sound as much as I don't like nuisance sound. I kind of miss that buzz, because it meant something was going on, right? It was
you're making money, baby.
Yeah, it was, and then I was, because I live in a colder climate, and I thought about repurposing. I had a design for a crypto mining a furnace, basically, that would adapt to the forced air furnaces in the house, that would supplement the heat there. And but it was such a niche market that it would kind of been like would have been more of a hobby business, I think, than anything.
Yeah.
But I still like the idea. And then I was going to use because I was dumping out a lot of hot air. So then I was like, okay, well, how can I make this green, right? And then I'm like, okay, crickets like heat. I'm going to like have Bitcoin crickets. So then I was going to dump this heat into just for the part of just for the craziness. It's crazy enough that it could work in crypto, right? And it's like, I had this whole big plan to have an operation with Bitcoin crickets, essentially, and kind of go with that. But you got to go where the money is, and that wasn't necessarily it right at the time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people in coal, like, dude, it was crazy for a while. Like, people were renting apartments and just building them out and hiring dedicated people just to keep them up and running. But they would have the windows open, like it would generate so much heat in the dead of winter and anywhere in a cold, like.
It pained me to dump that heat out. So I so much wanted to do something with it. Like, I mean, make a driveway so the snow would just melt off. But there's a little bit of infrastructure cost in repurposing it. But it just pained me to dump that heat out. But there's the technology's advanced. Proof of stake's the way to go now, and pulse chain, proof of mining proof of work is still a beautiful concept for where you have the ability to arbitrage electricity cost.
Yeah.
It's not
did you end up selling off did you have like ASIC miners or?
Yeah, they're all ASICs. Like I'd mentioned, I hung on to them as long as I could. I just like to turn them on just every once in a while just to hear that noise again. And but then I found a market or a buyer for them, and like I said, like literally probably 3 weeks after I sold them, they would have been a gold mine, because of the Dogecoin had that pump, like it had that Elon Musk pump, or I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that wasn't that long ago. I mean, that was
so that changed the game for the Litecoin miners at the time. But
okay,
that's how she goes. Easy come, easy go. That's the name of crypto.
Man, life lessons, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. But the learning experience was amazing. Like doing all the own, networking to understanding, how everything works, and the latency that was the most important thing, not the internet speed, and just like all these little intricacies that I learned the whole Cisco manual. Like I was studying that and had my own network set up, and so one miner would go off on a particular shelf. I know exactly where it was because it each had their own IP address dedicated to like shelf 2, position 3. And I know exactly where the problem was, and I just enjoyed the problem solving and the aspect of building it. Like I toyed around with microcontrollers, and so I had this whole thing automated with fans, and because I had temperature control was a huge deal in this mine because I lived in a colder climate. So I built this inside of a building essentially. So I had, the air pressure differences from the isolated rooms to the building, but also the temperature differences from the cold room to the hot room in the mining. Plus, I wanted a comfortable temperature in the shop or in the building, right? So it was a challenge that I just loved, and that's kind of why this was a natural progression, like the building in the space, because it's definitely a challenge. Like anybody that says copy and paste code really does not understand what goes into it, because it's far from copy and paste on a protocol like this.
Yeah, no, and that's the difference between you and me. I mined Ethereum for a little bit in 2017, but like you're saying, like I would be chasing my tail, wasting time trying to identify which one is down, where you just had it dialed in, and that's such a time saver. For
yeah,
sure.
well, I thought this was going to be the final thing. I thought I was going to travel the world and just kind of run this from my computer, but the market had a different idea. So
delusions of grandeur.
Yeah. Well, no, what I meant was I was planning ahead. Like I was trying to get everything right.
Yeah, no doubt. All these things, and somebody to be like that, because I know like Access Alive talks about when he had his farm and whatnot. I mean, you have to be a jack of all trades and wear different hats, let alone just from an energy standpoint and power.
Yeah, the biggest lesson. I mean, it was fun and it seemed like a natural progression. It's like, oh yeah, mining. But really, in hindsight, if I would just bought the coins, it would have done much better in my environment with electricity costs and everything else. But wouldn't have learned as much as I learned.
Yep. No doubt. And now, like, and as am I, AJ, I mine helium as well. I got a small cell radio and I'm earning my mobile token and nice. IoT and all that stuff. And VI.C coin.
VI.C coin, yeah.
And to that point, I even dabbled into, and I got a plug in there in my outro or intro for Evergreen Miner. So for on the Chia side, they really simplified, made it a nice plug and play system to plug and play in that. But anyways, I just love a great conversation, man. Sorry. Yeah. I digress. It's my fault. But anywho, we're here for 2 fucks.
Sounds like people are interested in the mining stuff too. It's kind of foreign now because you don't hear a lot about proof of work mining, and but it's part of the it's part of the history, definitely, of the progression.
Yep. That's how it works. So do you have a screen, your website?
Yeah, you bet. I'm actually really excited and happy to be able to share this.
And then 2. If you want to just kind of give a brief 30,000 foot scope for anybody new watching this on the replay, we're all kind of advanced, but just for that aspect.
Sure. Yeah. So simply put, 2FUX is designed to be, a premier yield aggregator for pulse chain, where you would go and receive boosted yields and stronger voting power through social aggregation. So by working together, we can all achieve more than working on our own. Simply put, there's a lot of really good videos Abdul has done going over the understanding of FUX.io, which is kind of a precursor to being able to really dive into 2FUX. But so I'll leave maybe that part to a minimum today, because I want to focus on the actual walkthrough of the 2FUX protocol. But essentially, we're built on top of Balancer V2. So the FUX.io is a fork of Balancer V2, and we're designed to give users stronger yields or higher boost because of the social aggregation, because of our combined voting power that we're all tapping into. So that's kind of the idea, is that it's built on top, and it allows people, even if you don't own a single token, you could come in and park your liquidity through our front end and benefit from the protocol's owned voting power. But then furthermore, if you want to participate into the maximum, if you want to get the most robust experience, then you would participate in the aspects of the protocol to allow you to earn protocol revenue and a higher share of rewards and such. Yeah. Social aggregation is a good word. Yeah, I like that one. I know Fast was trying to talk me down, and I'm like, no, I'm not budging on that one. I like social aggregation. It to me, it describes what it is. Like I know, I don't know if it's true, but in Britain, I heard like, well, actually, I saw this in a little kid's book, and they were showing like the different names of different items, and there was this what we call a cement truck in my country, and they called it a aggregator truck or something like that. And I thought, oh wow, yeah, that really describes what it is. But like, I don't know if we're like a kid that's just learning their words, like, but you gotta get to what it is. It is what it is.
I'm muted. But yeah, it's a thing for sure, no doubt. But yeah, feel free. Let's, I guess, not keep the kids.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this here. All right. Sure. I'm just gonna go with the whole screen here because, I think that should be good. All right. Just let me know if you can see. Can we see what we're doing here?
Yep.
Sorry, 1 second here. Just one moment. Is my MetaMask viewable at the same time there? Just give me 1 second here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, try this one more time. Thanks for your patience, guys. All right.
Oh, no worries. They're just
entire screen, I guess.
They're just yamming it up in the chat a little bit.
All right. Okay. So can we see the screen here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not looking at myself here. I'm just looking at the screen. So I'm gonna make this go big, and then all right. So this is our pools page. So when you park liquidity into the 2FUX protocol, basically it routes to the FUX.io, and it acts as a proxy for you to receive boosted rewards. So those rewards are distributed, or basically there's a harvest call that happens multiple times a day, and it harvests the rewards and it distributes to people that stake in these pools. So essentially, this is a list of all the gauged pools on FUX.io. So the gauged pools are the ones that receive extra incentives. So if we just click on one of these pools, let's go to a nice juicy one here. 756% APR. So let's see what this is made out of, and see if we can make some sense of this. So essentially, this is a liquidity pool on FUX.io. So there's some swap fees that happen. This is very minimal on this particular example, but essentially there's because it's what we call a gauged pool. There's rewards emissions that are given out in FUX token, and so because users would be routing through 2FUX.io, which parks the liquidity into the same pools. Those rewards are mapped to the user and distributed, but then there's additional 2FUX tokens, which at today's price, really are adding to the APR. So you'll notice a couple things. There's a current VAPR and a projected VAPR. So I might be going into a little bit too much detail here, but I just want to explain a few things. So essentially, like, this is based on, like I mentioned, the harvested rewards are immediately available to somebody who would enter the pool. So if there was 10 people in the pool and each had an equal slice, you're getting your rewards. And if somebody new entered the pool, they're going to get their slice of those harvested rewards that are being distributed. Mm-hmm. But then it's vested over a 7-day period for security reasons. They're distributed over 7-day period. And so if you came in immediately, you're going to get your piece of that pie. But alternatively, if you left early within that first 7 days, you're forfeiting some of those rewards to the people that remain in the pool. So that's where you get these two values. So the current VAPR is actually what you would be getting right now. And then the projected, if all the values stayed the same, like the total value locked, the volume, the token prices, and the boost, the gauge boost all stayed the same. Essentially, sorry, what was I saying? The projected VAPR would become the current one. So like this is so as people enter and leave the pool, as the token price changes, so this projected VAPR is always going to be fairly dynamic, but it gives you an idea. Like the current always kind of like gravitates towards the projected, or this is kind of where things could go in a sense. It kind of gives you a
So after 7 days, that's what your projected would be if all things remained.
Yeah, if everything remained constant after a few weeks, it would be that way. So essentially, you have a really good gauge of what you're getting by the current value, and then the projected was kind of like gives you kind of a crystal ball into the future where because the dynamics are always changing. One thing that's notable here is like the gauge boost is where 2FUX comes in. So essentially on Fux.io, you're guaranteed to get, if you didn't own any tokens, you can get the minimum APR value that's displayed. So there's a range, and normally like that would be let's call it a 1x boost. So just that's your entry level boost plus swap fees. But then when you come over here, this particular instance that we have deployed has a certain amount of value locked, and because the ratio of the amount in the pool to the protocol owned staked prime Fux, which I'll explain later, is giving us a boost of 1.49x. So like essentially, instead of getting 90% APR on the Fux rewards, it's veering towards 136% with this boost here in place, and that's going to be the same with the 2FUX rewards as well. So there's a significant, or can be a significant difference by parking and routing liquidity through the 2FUX front end versus trying to just do it on your own. So the other components I'll explain a little bit as we go. Go ahead.
Quick question for you. Because this is a closed private test net, so to speak, I mean, that's why we're seeing the inflated APRs right now, or is that? Yeah,
well, this is we're live on mainnet. It's just these are obviously tokens are not going to have a market, but we do have they are live pools. Like right now, this is the 2FUX Prime Fux pool that is live. Like you could buy $1 worth of tokens right now and try out the this version, the DevNet as we call it. But while we're here, I just wanted to show something here too. This is the Prime Fux pool. So I'll explain a little bit more about the tokens because I kind of jumped into the pools page. But so there is a market for these, and based on this market price, which is, like you said, it's a test version, or it's a DevNet version. But this gives you an example of like what how the APRs would be affected by the market price of the token. So certainly the Fux rewards are actual rewards we're getting. Like when we go to the claims page, we'll see the claimable rewards like for any particular pool that we have. So this let's just pick one with this is a smaller wallet here. The rewards aren't as exciting as the wallet I wanted to use. I was having some difficulty with here. Okay, well, I'll just go to sorry, just pick a pool here. This is not actually a liquidity pool. Just 1 second here. But I mean, essentially, right now I'm earning like real Fux tokens as rewards, and the 2FUX tokens, which are just our DevNet version, but based on the market price, they do have a value, right? So those would be similar types of conditions you would encounter in these. So these values that you're looking at right now, if we excluded, it just takes a little bit for the 2FUX values to load. That was one of the things that notably I wanted to point out. Like when we clicked to this page, you noticed how everything was there right away, or it gave us something right away we could play with. And then as those values became available, they loaded in the background. That was one of the optimizations we worked on with our devs, so we don't encounter an experience like on some other places where we have loading that takes forever. So that was one of the optimizations that we did to give people lightning fast search functions, like like right there, boom. So we're pulling data from the back end and displaying it. If there isn't data available that's current, so you'll always have something to look at. And then as data becomes available, it'll just pop up on the page, and that's that. So sorry, I cut you off.
So can I ask you? So what's up with Fox web? Like what? I think a lot of people have frustration with how slow it is.
Yeah. I spoke with their dev. There's a lot of data that they're loading. Like we're displaying just the gauge pools. They have a lot of pools there. I'm not going to really get into the technical details of their protocol, but we did optimize ours to work for our situation very well, and I think people are going to be very pleased with that. Having said that, I know that there is some work I think being done. I can't really comment on Fox.io, to be honest, because we are separate. That's one thing that's we are a separate team. But
it's not going to be that way forever. Like they're hopefully working on. They know it's kind of a sore spot.
Yeah. And the great thing is here, I'm going to show you too. So if you click on a pool, and we you want to add liquidity. The great thing is you can do it right from here. So when a user comes in, when we launch, and a user would unstake their liquidity from Fox.io if they want to participate in 2Fox, and you come over to the portfolio page, and it's basically going to show the pools, or these are my staked pools here, and then the unstaked pools. So basically I have some very small amounts of liquidity here, but essentially when the users will unstake their liquidity from Fox.io, they'll come over here, it'll show up on the unstaked pools. They just click the stake button, and boom, you're ready to stake max, and then boom, approve, and we can even do this right now. But essentially it's going to be that easy. You won't even have to interact with the Fox.io front end if you don't want to. If you have your tokens, it can be done right from our front end here, as well as like individual tokens from a pool. So if you had just one of these tokens, you could add to the liquidity pool, but you're going to incur some slippage the same way you would on Fox.io. So that's something to be aware of. But so here I'm going to go and stake this. Let's wait here. I'm not used to this MetaMask. I got a new browser that's opening it up in a separate window. I don't like that. Anyways, so I'm in the process of staking some of this liquidity here, and it's going to be as simple as that. However, if you did want to go over to the Fox.io and create your liquidity there, like if you had some single-sided tokens and you don't want to get burnt on slippage that you don't know, you just click the shortcut button, and this will take you right to the Fox.io pools page, and you can create your liquidity there, and then come back here and stake it. And very easy to use. The unstake button again shows how much I have, amount to withdraw, unstake, and withdraw anytime. And then the info.
7 days in between, right?
So the again, it's a little bit nuanced. I'll have some better explanations on that I'll be sharing to kind of give people a better idea of what to expect, exactly what to expect. But there's quite a few things to go over, so I want to make sure we have enough time. But essentially, it'll be clear to the user, what you'll have. Like you'll begin earning rewards right away, but it's just the difference between this current VAPR and the projected VAPR has to do with these are rewards that are already harvested and being distributed. And then, these are the projected, basically the rewards that you can expect things to veer towards if everything stayed the same. So there's it's just there's reason for this. Basically, the Convex has a good explanation of this right here on their the rewards distribution and why it is the way it is. Which is if somebody's really interested and keen, maybe something to look at. But sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Is there any more questions on this before I move on to the other exciting pages here?
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's a nice, beautiful, clean-looking UI. I think everyone's going to appreciate the speed of
Yeah.
it. Just clear and concise steps and directions. Do this, then that,
Yeah.
and shortcuts like you're implementing. Because like we've seen. Like a Zap feature with Power City and those things. Just simplicity little things, right? Behind one button for the end user while you're doing all the back end work, right?
Yeah. And this historical APR chart is going to be awesome. Again, the breakdown is in here. One thing I didn't, I'll just point out. I should probably wait till later. We're toying with we're practicing the built-in feature in the protocol to add an extra reward token into a pool. So this isn't added to the current APR value yet. My dev is actually doing that as we speak. But this extra reward token was added onto this pool. So this is an example of a protocol or other reason an extra reward token gets added onto a particular pool. So now here, this stands for the Pulse Chain Silver, I believe, and it was added on just so we could visualize what this is going to do to the APR, like by getting another reward token. So there's going to be some exciting competitions within pools, and the APRs are going to be really exciting. So it's noteworthy how this is achieved is by directing votes to pools. Where people want the emissions directed, right? So I'll try to keep it on a mid-level range, because there is a bit of a learning curve, especially for somebody that hasn't come into this yet. So part of the way this the magic where this all works is that like I said, the protocol wants to accrue as much maximum staked prime FUCs as it can, because that's what gives you this vote escrowed power. But on Fux.io, normally you would go in and you would lock your prime Fux tokens for up to a year to get the maximum voting power. So what we're doing is, as a protocol, instead, the protocol is locking it for a year all over and over and over again. So it's always max locked. So in that respect, though, as a user, the bonus here is that you're getting basically a liquid staking token. You're getting a placeholder token called Prime 2 Fux, which is a liquid wrapper token that represents, the locked Prime Fux. So the only way this comes into existence is when somebody would mint it or market buy it. But essentially, it comes into existence when you would take some Fux or Prime Fux, and you would mint some into existence. So in this case here, I would mint them to my wallet, and it's 1-to-1, close to 1-to-1 ratio. Or part of the magic with this protocol is that when you choose to stake your Prime Fux tokens in the protocol, then that allows you some additional benefits and rewards. So you actually get a large lion's share of the protocol revenue. So you'll get the same. So here, this VAPR is a breakdown of the native rewards you would get. So basically, you would get the rewards on Fux.io for staking your Prime Fux in Fux and Prime Fux. And then additionally, you're getting 2 Fux tokens, and you're getting 20% of the protocol revenue from the LPs distributed to. So once that number actually ramps up, we're going to see a juicy number. But on top of that, if that's not enough, you're also liquid. So easily liquid. Like you could unstake at any time. There's no lock period. You're not locked up for a year. Anytime I want, I can unstake those tokens, and I can go and provide liquidity, or I could market dump them if that's what I really wanted to do. It'd be crazy to give up your share of protocol revenue though, and the APR that's on there, but that's up to you. So there's an option here to, like I said, to mint your wallet. But if I want to do it in one function to save some button presses, because I know I'm going to stake it, I'm going to do this right now. Stake some Prime 2 Fux, and let's see here. Wait for my wallet to open up, and then I'll show you one more thing. So there's right now this is the default setting is this compounder. So we have built in because you're basically getting rewards in a few different tokens here. So if we go over to the claim page and we go to the Prime 2FUX compounder, the compounder automatically recompounds your rewards back into 2FUX. So what it does here, if I go to the classic staking mode, which is the other one that is available, there's 3 reward tokens. So there's FUX, Prime FUX, and 2FUX. And so those are all the rewards you would get. And so you have a choice of staking in the classic mode where these individual tokens would be mapped to your wallet. But what we have built in is this auto compounder that takes these rewards and multiple times, multiple instances per day compounds them, and so instead you're getting an even higher yield from doing that, and you don't have to select any buttons. So this is an option right out of the gate. Here you can see the VAPR for the classic staking is about 84% currently. This will just take a second to load. Like I said, there we go. And so these are the reward breakdown on the classic staking. So these rewards are coming from the native rewards from staking on the Fux.io. But again, the protocol is doing it, and we're just mapping them to the stakers of Prime 2FUX. So it's basically passed on to you without having to lock your tokens anymore. And plus you're getting you're getting the additional 2FUX tokens. So right now we can see 106% on the compounder versus 84% on the classic staking. So again, staking and minting in one function. But one thing I wanted to point out, though, I noticed over here, and we went to the chart over here. So essentially, Prime 2FUX, because it's a derivative wrapper of Prime FUX, essentially, because what's happening, you're taking your Prime FUX over to the protocol, you're minting Prime 2FUX with it at nearly a 1-to-1 ratio. But I noticed here, like the price of Prime 2FUX is 3 zeros and a 6, and the price of Prime FUX is actually less expensive. So this is actually an interesting arbitrage opportunity right now, because essentially, I could go take some Prime FUX right now for this price, go to 2FUX protocol and mint it, and then come right back here and sell it for a profit, and arbitrage that price difference, right? And in so doing, this continues to build the protocol-owned Prime FUX. So this is a one-way mint. Essentially, once that Prime FUX enters the protocol, it never leaves. You're only issued that derivative token, which, as I explained, could very likely have a market value because of the mechanics there that I just showed you. So because of that, there is like incentive to kind of keep building up this protocol-owned pool of Prime 2FUX, which adds to the gauge boost. So when users come in and into a particular pool, now it's as though you're using the wallet that owns all that staked Prime FUX, which gives you a gauge boost. That's where you get that extra above and beyond a 1x boost. So this particular pool, because it's a very small amount of TVL and amount deposited relative to the amount of Prime FUX currently in the protocol, because of that, right now there's a gauge boost of 2.5x. But should more people come into the pool, that number will go down. But then there is ways to keep that number up, which I'll maybe save for another episode. But it has to do with the bribes and the bribe efficiency and some coordination between people. But okay, so before I go on, I know it's a lot of stuff going on here. So is there anything that maybe I could provide more clarity on this particular part before I move on to another part?
No, I'd say just keep plodding along.
Okay. Okay. So I did go over the claim page a little bit here. So essentially, this will show all your claimable rewards, amount deposited, amount claimable, and this number was quite juicy in one of the other wallets I wanted to show. We had about $5,000 or $6,000 in deposits, and I already had over close to $300 or $400 in claimable rewards. It was it's exciting to start to look at that. So then we also made this portfolio page, which is just kind of it's very similar to claim page, but it'll show your stake pools, and also a shortcut to go to right to that page. It'll show your total portfolio. This number is not correct right now. We're just working on the last couple little UI things like that. Okay, so the V.I.C token is where a large part of this magic happens here. So this is the lock page for the V.I.C token. So the protocol as a native token, V.I.C, which is also an emissions reward token. But instead of just being a straight emissions and reward token that people would dump, the magic happens because this is actually the token that allows you to vote on the things that matter. And the things that people tend to care about are where the money goes. So this allows you to, or the holders and the lockers of it, essentially, the lockers are the ones that get to 100% of the voting power that the protocol gets for its locked prime FUX is mapped to the lockers of the V.I.C token. So if you're the only guy locked right now, you can steer 100% of the protocol votes to the pool that you want. And that's going to translate into more emissions going to that pool, which is going to ramp up the APR. And again, maybe attract more liquidity. But maybe you can try to be secret about it. Don't tell anybody about your 500% pool. And but as people find out about it and they come and enter the pool, that number could go down. But there is a way to keep that number up, and that's what I'm excited to talk about at some point in the future here, because I'm working on a really cool strategy for bribes, but it's more of a community aspect to work together and keep those incentives high. So essentially, the way this works, you come in. I've got a bunch of V.I.C in my wallet here. So right now on this DevNet, we're running accelerated lock cycles. So normally the lock period would be for 16 weeks. And that's for a reason. So it's there's a few reasons behind that. One is to just encourage people to use the protocol the way it was designed, but also to prevent gamification. So the 16-week lock allows you to then delegate. So I have a lock here. I just did earlier, because normally the period would be 16 weeks, but we're running it in half-day cycles. So basically every half day. So I just locked a few hours ago, and here it says future voting power. So I have future voting power of 40,000 and some change. And then when that period turns over, essentially it's going to move into the current voting power, which will essentially activate my votes. So the reason this happens is once you lock, we do a fresh lock here. This is a lot here, actually. I'm not going to lock that many because I'm trying not to hog the rewards for people that are playing around on the test net here. So I'm just going to do a lock here. And then what happens once you lock your tokens, then the UI opens up to allow you to delegate your votes. I've already delegated here, so the change delegate happens. But this button only becomes available when you lock your tokens. And then what the delegate means that you have voting power that you're allowed to use. So here's my new lock. So my future voting power increased because it hasn't yet turned over. So now I'm going to have a really good voting power for this next cycle. But I've delegated to myself. What that means is I want to choose where my rewards go, for example. But maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just I want to let my buddy make the decision, and I can delegate to his address. Or maybe I want to delegate to Bribery and sell my votes on the marketplace. So you can benefit a few different ways. There is an APR here because there is a small percentage of protocol revenue that's distributed to the lockers, as well as there's some revenue that's delegated to the lockers, and then additionally there could be your revenue stream from the bribes incentives could be significant as well. But what this does now, so now once I have a delegate chosen and here I'm delegated to myself. So then I can go over to the gauge vote page. So this shows all the pools on Fox.io, and because my voting power right now is pending, like it's the current, it needs to be into the current stage. It's future, like, so this, when this period turns over, because basically this page is a proxy page where I'd cast my votes. Like right now I have votes cast here. I have 10% into this pool. I have 70% into this pool. And essentially when that becomes the current voting power, I could still make these changes up to the timer for the turnover for the voting period. And then those votes are applied to those pools, and the rewards, the proportionate amount of, rewards emissions are increased in that particular pool at that time. So when people work together, increasing or decreasing their votes, it'll appear here in green or red. These are zero values because, like I said, our voting period turns over every half a day. So people have no. This is just for the test, just for our test version, because we're trying to go.
Otherwise, it'll be, what's the turnover? 24 hours.
Yeah. So essentially, the cycle on Fox.io for voting is you could change your votes once every 10 days, and the cycle is a weekly cycle. So because you could only change your votes every 10 days, our cycle will be a 2-week voting period. So essentially, you can set and forget it. Like I say, your votes will still be active for multiple cycles as long as you renew your lock. If you don't have expired locks, there is a relock period, a button that you basically will allow you to relock them once every 16 weeks if you need to ensure your voting power is still active, right? Because you have to be a little bit proactive on where you steer your votes. But like if you delegate your votes to somebody else or to bribery, you don't want to be bothered with that. You can just get paid for your votes and somebody else will do it for you. But
so where is that portion as far as getting paid for your votes?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is not. This is a separate protocol that actually isn't released yet. Like we're going to sort of secretly building this in the background, and it'll be as simple as changing the delegates to the. Here's an option to delegate to 2 fucks as well. So if I just did that, for example, the 2 fucks protocol would likely use those votes in a way that would benefit the community. So there's going to be likely some gauged pools for the 2 fucks token and the prime 2 fucks token, hopefully. So that would be a place where a user could benefit if they were planning on providing liquidity in those pools. Or if you were to delegate to Bribery Marketplace, like I say, which is not live yet, it won't be live right at the time that 2 fucks launches. But certainly, Fasadul and I may run a over-the-counter desk for bribes in the interim. No, I shouldn't say that, but it's
OTC. I hear you, man.
But really, like there's some really interesting dynamics with the with, like I said, like I was saying, with the bribe efficiency. And what I mean by bribe efficiency is that there's a predictable amount of emissions that you could get, and that's calculatable for the keen to determine that if I put in $1 worth of bribe and it's getting me $1.30 worth of emissions, then the bribe efficiency is 1.3, and really, like, they could be a lot crazier on launch because of all the stuff going on, the crazy APRs and the crazy things happening. I wouldn't be surprised to see bribe efficiency somewhere in the like 3 to 4x range in some of the pools. And so it's going to be something people are going to be a little bit slow to catch on to. I think the keen will be looking, and but once people realize that as a community you could pool together and work together, where say all the liquidity providers, or all the ones that mattered, agreed that they were going to bribe a certain percentage. Like, it could be a very small percentage, but essentially if people were working together, and if you had, say, 10,000 or whatever, $1,000 of liquidity, and you put everybody put in 0.7% of their liquidity in a bribe, and basically it maintains this APR for everybody involved, right? So there's going to be ways for people and communities to work together to not get diluted by, where you have a high APR pool. Like some of these are ridiculous already. I just gotta wait for them to load here. But there was, some pools like, when you get into 500, 600, 700% APR, and that attracts more liquidity, which is maybe what people want. But some people get upset when their pool gets diluted. But there's a solution for that. And so what I'm saying is like the collusion or the working together of people to basically incentivize more emissions for the pool. So you don't have to put up a huge amount, but if everybody that was involved wanted to keep the APR, essentially there's opportunity to work together to do that. And that's what's exciting, I think, once people are going to realize how this dynamic works. And so we're going to incorporate some of that into our marketplace here, and it's going to be exciting.
No, it's good stuff. I think that's where perhaps maybe paid groups collectively might have a little pull to.
Absolutely, because there's already this sort of community aspect, but not only that, there's strategy community aspect, right? There's people that have the like-minded goals, and you can present something that makes sense on paper. It's all in the mouth, and it's just like, okay, let's do it, right? It's going to be exciting. As far as that goes, I trying to keep it sort of concise, because there's a lot to bite off. I probably forgot one or two things, but is it making sense on a whole?
Yeah. No, I mean, you got pools.
Yeah.
And then we're going into prime 2 fucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's looking good.
Yeah, and then this is the 2 fucks token that's that allows you to do things with it. And so we're excited for this launch, as well as some of the liquidity pools that we're planning on. We'll obviously have the prime 2 fucks. Prime fucks pool will be one that'll be there, and there will be a 2 fucks, and likely Pulse will be the main pairing. But some of the interesting things with Balancer V2 is it allows for the composability of pools to have what I like to call meta pools, where you have liquidity tokens within a pool, and so where it will get interesting is where you start to pair some of the 2 fucks liquidity with other liquidity tokens, and you have some really fun pools. And I think there's going to be some really good collabs with some communities and some projects out there that have similar interests in teaching the community about responsible yield generation. And there's other ways to do it other than just degenning after these dog coins and losing your shirt, and then or making a mint and then giving it all back. Right. There's a lot of good protocols on Pulse Chain that are aiming to provide sustainable yield and protocol revenue sharing and these sorts of things, right? So I think DeFi is going to be where crypto is going to be moving into a market more akin to traditional markets, where I think we're going to see a lot of that volatility is going to, as the market grows and as money comes in, that volatility is going to slow down and go away to some degree. Even we see it now, it's much harder to find a 10x or 100x degen play, and I think people are going to realize that you could have really good sustainable income and yields by doing playing the game correctly, and it's a lot less risky than chasing after dog coins.
Yeah, and then like yesterday or Monday, we were messing around with the Tetra and the scripts, and just that automation aspect as well. So Yeah, it's very fascinating. Hey, let's. I apologize. Let's get into some of the questions people had here. A little fun one here. How'd you choose the name Yellow Cake?
My name Yellow Cake, or the name Yellow Cake? Oh yeah, that's an interesting background story. I don't know if I'll get into the whole thing right now, but it's it goes way back actually. But it had to do with well, I'm an algorithm nut, and I'm like, you know, I don't know, call it a conspiracy theorist. This is before conspiracy theory was a thing. Like, it's like I believed in conspiracies. They actually
is it
happened.
Like nuclear, like yellow cake as in nukes, like uranium?
Yeah, well, it's before it's refined, it's in a state where it can go a couple different directions. And the main premise was one thing that algorithms don't like is unpredictability. And so Yellow Cake represented this state that that essentially would allow me to be flexible and to change states at any given point in time. It was really kind of a play on
I like that.
on trying to remain private, or just kind of like, it has a deeper background that's maybe hard for me to explain, but it did have some significance.
And then what was the your transition from getting into coding, and what certifications loosely, or YouTube University, or like
absolutely. I was one of the first in my generation to have a computer. I spent half my life in front of it, coding and playing games and learning how to do the hack stuff back then. And then I basically let it all go. I didn't touch a computer for 10 years. And I was just like, no, I'm done with
eternity.
This. It was, well, the crazy thing was it took me 20 years to get back in the game after that, because it was Windows had come out. I remember hearing people talk about this Windows, and I'm like, Windows, okay. So then I got into it. Anyways, long story short, got back into things, and when I really started getting back into coding was when Internet of Things was coming out. And it really intrigued me as an entrepreneur, and I thought, okay, well, this is something. So I started building prototypes with microcontrollers and programming, basically like Arduino type of prototypes stuff. And I thought really was looking at a business model to go down this route. But at the time, when blockchain was still new, like there wasn't really a way to make money off Internet of Things. That was the problem. Like it was really hard to monetize. And so when I shifted into crypto, actually, I thought early on, okay, well, this is going to be the way to monetize Internet of Things. So it was interesting. I started to kind of work towards that model. But in the meantime, I took Ivan and Tech's blockchain management and his coding courses from his academy. They changed the name now. It used to just be called I think it's Blockchain Academy, or Ivan and Tech Blockchain Academy. Now it's called the Morales. They have their whole big system there. But it was an amazing course. It was great to learn. I didn't have intent to go in as a full stack dev, but it was really the project management that I was interested in, because I did want to build in the space, and I did have a background in coding, so I did want to, learn it. Like, essentially, the idea and the goal was to know enough to be able to manage a project. It helps to be able to look at code and know, something about it. So, I'm able to go and do some commits and things if I need to, but I'd rather leave that to the very experienced devs, and I just work on the project management.
So more on the management, project management.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's huge. Yes.
And Ivan and Tech courses were amazing. The support and the community, and
so you highly recommend and endorse.
I do. Yes.
Good value.
Yeah, is good value. Yeah, and it's really from the ground up. They had things structured. You would learn all the different languages. You'd be just itching to get into Solidity. Like you want to just build the stuff, but there was rhyme or reason to first learning FizzBuzz and but
so next question here, is there a on-site tutorial?
There is, but it's a little bit outdated right now. If you're keen, I would recommend just just jumping into the DevNet, if you come to our chat and DM me, I could get you set up to try things out. The tutorial is, I think, like I would actually, what I would go is from our Telegram room. The Fast Duel has a host of videos that he has done. I would recommend maybe asking if there was something specific that you wanted, and maybe Fast Duel would point you in the right direction to one of his many videos. He's done a really good job explaining things right from the beginning. Yeah. Here we go, sac code. Yeah, so our sacrifice is still open. We have a capped sacrifice at 2 million, and what we see this no code. So we had this promotion for communities to basically, so as a sacrificer, you could come in and you get all your points. But as a community, then if you put this code at the end, there's a bonus allocation of points that may translate into something forever being directed at a community's pool. So there's sort of a little friendly competition going on between the sacrificers, and you can kind of see who's got what loyalty to which program. I noticed it's not like I'm okay, maybe I am creeping a little bit on some of the addresses, but I did notice there's a few addresses that don't have a code yet attached to them. So I'm kind of curious because it is retroactive. You could go right now and just sacrifice $1. Well, if you're going to do it, you might as well do 10,000. But no, I'm just saying you could add on the code to the end. Just right now, you could just sacrifice 0.2828 pulse, and all your previous sacrifices will be credited. Or rather, the bonus allocation for your previous sacrifices are retroactive. They'll all be credited to the community of your choice. So it doesn't take away from any of your points that you would get, but also it can help. You can help your favorite community of choice to do that.
That's a huge little bonus tidbit there. Like if you forgot or you messed up, but yet you follow up and send another sacrifice and put 2828, automatically it just okay.
Yeah. And
that's a
and
good
you can
thing
change.
to know.
You can change your mind too. It's the last. It's basically the last one you that you do.
Okay.
The code will be the one that
I know
changes.
a lot of people, as they get their fucks emissions have been making multiple sacrifices as this has been going on. So
So if you're a big whale too, you could even tease a little bit. You could that'd be kind of mean, but you could put one.
But you do a head fake, right?
Or you could maybe open up for bribes, bribe your community votes. I don't know. You never know. Like maybe somebody wants your code at the end of there. Yeah.
Now I believe your website. Don't you guys have kind of broken down on the website on the sacrifice?
Yeah, there's our docs page. Oh, sorry. The sacrifice. What was your question? Oh, yeah. If you go to Hex Pulse info, there is some information there.
2fucks or 2fucks.io, right?
That's the website.
I'm pulling it up right now. Can you read that other question while I'm pulling that up?
Yeah, right. Once you lock this, your future voting power become current voting power. And so, as I explained, like we have a 14-day cycle. There's actually 3 cycles happening within that locking system. So, but essentially, the gauge voting page acts as a proxy for, you can change your mind as much as you want. Like on Fux.io, when you place your votes, you can only change your mind once every 10 days. So because 2Fux is basically acting as a proxy voting page, you can go ahead and change your mind every day up until the cutoff. So basically 2 days before the votes are cast on Fux.io, the proxy page will close for new submissions, and then your future voting power will become current, and that meaning that those are now being applied in this cycle, and they will continue to be applied so long as you have locked votes and you don't have to go in there and change or update your votes every period. They'll question would be what would alpha play. Well, there's a few. One thing, like I'd said, I would depending on what your skill set is and depending how much you like to look where other people aren't looking, But one is there's going to be a few arbitrage opportunities, like I pointed out with the Prime Fux and the Prime 2 Fux token, because the only way that comes into existence is by minting it. So the market available supply could be very low in the beginning. And if somebody's really keen to get their share of protocol revenue by acquiring and staking these Prime 2 Fux tokens, we could see some interesting opportunities there for arbitrage. As well, though, like I said, noteworthy, there's going to be some really insane pools with high APRs. So there's going to be some gamification there on how you decide to split up if you're going to participate in the liquidity provision. Another option, a simple option, maybe somebody doesn't want to be in every liquidity pool, but you're going to have some 2Fux tokens. There's a very high chance that we're going to have a gauged pool with some decent votes cast there, because I know a guy that knows a guy that might be directing some votes there. So, there might be opportunity just to simply, maybe you don't want to lock your tokens, maybe just park them in a liquidity pool and, earn fees that way and rewards that way.
Man, lots of ways to make some scratch.
Yeah. So the alpha, though, I would keep an eye out for the bribe marketplace. But even before that, there's nothing to stop you from brokering a deal with a person that and trust that you're basically just delegating your votes to them. It's like they maybe send you a couple bucks on the side and away you go, right? It's pretty straightforward transaction, because you're not risking your coins. They're not holding your coins. You're basically just selling your voting power. So that's going to be interesting. Team Boost. Oh yeah.
So Team Boost, the numbers to throw behind when you're submitting.
Yeah, and I don't like in terms of the sacrifice. I think it's a rare opportunity. Like Fast and I set out to build this. It was all self-funded, and we had intentions of having basically being at this stage before we before we had opened up the sacrifice. But essentially, it did take a little bit longer, as we all heard. Coding is hard, but the great thing is people didn't have to wait wait a year. We just started not too long ago. But I think it's a very rare opportunity where you have a fully functional protocol that's ready to be deployed with a capped $2 million sacrifice. We're a little bit over that right now. That's lagging behind. I think we're about 1.1 something. And I think once we have that timer up, which may be coming up fairly soon, a countdown timer, there's a chance that there's a couple people lurking that could fill that up pretty quick. So I would recommend, if you do enjoy the community, or you do believe in the concept of associating yourself with like-minded individuals, historically there's been some benefits to that, although you should have no expectations from sacrificing. It's obviously there's going to be a token generation event, and people that are eligible to mint. There will be no sacrifice necessary to mint. If you didn't sacrifice and you go to the mint page, maybe you can mint a token. But I'm just saying, there may be a reason to be associated with like-minded individuals. But essentially, the idea is that you should have no expectations. It's really to make a political statement. Everybody has, rights to good health, good mental health. It's a good thing. I have a buddy that's a firefighter who actually is a public speaking on mental health, and he does an amazing job just explaining how in the workplace, essentially, it's kind of downplayed a lot of times, and I'm not talking about the leftist kind of view on it, but just the idea that people aren't used to being taken seriously about mental health, and he does a really good speaking on that.
Well, I mean, if you would get, if I'd love to maybe have a conversation because that's what we are about, and we
Yeah.
do discuss, and like it needs to be talked about for sure. It's a thing.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not-
he's a really good public speaker too. He's been doing it
Awesome.
for years. Yeah. But yeah, well,
So
sorry,
can we
is there any other?
I guess just cover the sacrifice stats real quick. So you got a little over, creeping up on 1.1.
Yeah, I think we're
million?
past the site is a little bit behind. So
Okay.
for some reason, I'm not sure if he's on a little bit of a hiatus, but it is run by sort of a volunteer-ish. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's we have to be a little bit of grace there, but yeah, essentially there's notably that number one sacrificer is a doxed wallet that belongs to the fire whale, and the fact that he had enough confidence to come in and believed in believed in the protocol is really good foresight into the fact that people that have been in the community for a long period of time are looking for quality places to generate yield, and as an extension of Balancer V2, which is one of the best dexes for mitigating permanent loss and the composability of the pools and such, building on top of that and allowing people to achieve more by working together. I think that we're going to see some really cool community dynamics. Well, I know that. Like, I mean, we already have some known communities involved. Again, I don't want to leave anybody out. Like, there's many great communities, but there's there is some people working together on many of these communities to really benefit the whole community as a whole. So.
Right. Yep. No, exactly. Exactly. Let's see here. So we can round this out. Great conversation. Appreciate your time and coming on and explaining everything. Let's see here. We're just gonna pop your X Twitter handle, X handle in there for everybody to harass you and come tell you what a great job you're doing and how lovely the UI looks and all that warm fuzzy stuff that people will tell you.
Yeah, one thing I didn't touch on too, I was just going to mention briefly on the initial tokenomics is one interesting thing on the token generation event. There'll be basically a minting page where people will go who qualify, and there'll be two options, and one of the options will be to mint straight out to your wallet. Okay. And another one will be so essentially we're calling that the mint and claim, and the mint and lock, which is like basically the way the protocol was designed was to encourage people to participate in that governance aspect, which is, you're voting about the things that matter, where the rewards go. So to encourage that, to incentivize that, there is, for people that choose to mint and claim the tokens right to their wallet, maybe they want to provide liquidity, or maybe they have a reason for doing so. Maybe they need the money and they want to sell. That's fine, but you're going to incur a 30%. You're going to get 30% less tokens than if you were to go and mint and lock out of the gate or choose that option. And all those tokens, those 30% penalties, if there's any, from people that chose to mint and claim, will go to the ones that mint and lock, and at a later date they'll be distributed. So this is really not to penalize anybody, but to really encourage long-term participation and showing people how the protocol is designed to work. I think anybody that wants out, if they decided they just want their tokens and they want out, I think they'll have a way out, and I think they'll be happy either way. But I think the people that choose to stay and lock, I think you're going to be in for a wild ride.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I didn't think I'd be excited again for another sacrifice and this and that, but you guys are really turbocharging the FUX protocol. Once you wrap your head around it, I don't know what's not to like. It's like a no-brainer.
It's a bit of a learning curve. Like I said, for people that are new to the concept, like even last cycle, I remember hearing about Balancer and like all these VE and all these. There's too many letters in the tokens. I'm like, F that. I don't need this right now. But like, you know, really what it boiled down to is just kind of maturing in the space for me anyhow. At least I had a different strategy this cycle. I was investing in projects that I wanted to be invested in, like long term. And because of that too, I didn't want to lose out when the value of those tokens went up in price. So then that's where these FUX pools really made sense, because you could have weighted pools that protect you a lot more from impermanent loss, where you have a 90% and a 10% pool where you know, it has a very different ratio of impermanent loss to a traditional 50-50 pool. So on top of doing that, you know, earning like, you know, 100-200% APR in the bull market, and then in the bear market, I think people are going to be filing in stable coins and into some of these pools. And I think I'm just so happy to be staged at this point in Pulse Chain, right at you know, the bottom.
Timing is good, bro.
Yeah, and then, you know, we can all move up together and grow together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it's happening.
So many amazing community here, like so many amazing builders that have helped us out, and amazing people. Fast Abdul, co-founder, has been excellent with, you know, he's everywhere. I don't know how he does it. 10 of him. He has his mini me's, or he manages it all himself, but he's everywhere at once. Everybody knows who he is. So I'm happy to be working alongside the great camel trader.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good stuff. So do you guys have on X a couple different X profiles, just kind of placeholders, just kind of saved between the plays and the words a little bit? Or I noticed a couple that are out there. Are they?
So you're talking about which? Sorry, the like,
you got a couple 2 FUX X profiles out there.
Oh yeah, they're Telegram is the most active right now, and I guess probably Fast Abdul on Telegram and myself on Telegram are the best places. I'm not sure, whether we're going to ramp up the Telegram channel, which once the community is a little stronger. I'm not sure right now I think it's mainly our Telegram channel that is where the alpha is right now, and then you can certainly follow Fast and myself on Twitter, or X, I guess it's called. Yeah,
right on. All right, well, you guys are always around. People, you're easy to find, easy to talk to, approachable, all that good stuff. So reach out if you guys got any further questions. This will be a great starter tutorial for people as well, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for attending. Yellow Cake, good to see you. Good to get to know you as well, brother.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Yep.
And thank you. Take care, and we be out.
Yeah. Cheers.
First Saturday, hey! Hey, isn't it supposed to be on 2 feet? Holy!
Yo, it's the Hexicans again. Crypto, this ain't the end. It's real life, not pretend. The code is what we defend. We some crypto junkies. Hex and Pulse Chain be comfy. The price action bananas. Chimpanzees, monkeys, make interest trust to sleep. How can I claim a loss? Hex and Pulse Chain, they didn't rug. Gary Gensler, we're the victims. I really think you just spreading some FUD. So tell me what this is about. Oh, you do anything for the clout? You are a joker and I am dope, but that's just a fact. Full disclosure. So tell me what's next. You think with your heart's gonna run with the funds? I heard some influencers say that, and to me, that sounds really dumb. But that's just me, and we will see. Hex is no company. I own my crypto how it should be. No restrictions, totally free. With DeFi, there's no middleman. Just code program to do what it do. Repetitive tasks, kiss my ass and regulate this new asset class, cause we some crypto.